Tam Talks explores life, spirituality, and general weirdness through quirky storytelling and laughter, lighting you up in your life journey. Let's go! Now, the next day, so my mom and I were standing in the kitchen talking. I think she was like switching her laundry or folding or something like that. And we were talking about my Nana, so my mom and my aunt's mother. And we were just saying how much, like I didn't have a fantastic relationship with her, and neither did my mom, honestly. We were way closer with my grandfather. And so we were just kind of talking that, and my mom was describing, she actually had, when we think back to it, she had her hands full because obviously my grandfather worked during the day. She had 4 kids under 8. And so we were kind of like, you know what? We need to be easier on her. Like, yes, she was whoever she was in her later years, but we need to really recognize like how hard it is just as a mom, and that she was doing that. So as we're talking about this, I felt my dog drift. Like he'll come up and he'll just like nudge you, like he'll push his nose. If anybody has German shepherds or knows that's what they do. So I felt drift, like just shove his nose into my leg. So I don't even react anymore. I'm just like, oh, he's just being obnoxious and wants attention. And he'll often, if my mom and I are gabbing, he'll like push his way through, and he'll sometimes like jump just to he's ridiculous. So I'll be like, get over there in your bed and just stop. So I ignored the first one. I was like, oh, that little bugger. Anyway, so then I felt it again, and I turned to look, and my mom's looking at me with a weird look on her face. And like it basically felt like it was kind of like the back of my leg and like almost my butt area, which is exactly where his nose comes to. And it felt like a hand running across. So I look and I'm like, okay, drift's not there. And I said that to my mom, and I'm like, well, I just felt like hard, like pressure, a hand across the back of my leg / butt area. And I thought it was drift, but it's not, as we were talking. So we're like, okay, Nana or Aunt Lori. It was one of them. And I, like, that was pretty profound because it was like, there was no doubt that someone touched me twice. And it was like the first time, you're not paying attention. So it happened again until I paid attention. So now the next occurrence was that night. Yes. So I've just written all these notes everywhere because all these things, the first day that she passed. So I have photos on my phone. So just to rewind, before even this chat with my mom about my Nana, that was the day after. So the day that, was that the same? Anyways, oh my God, I just remember the day that my aunt passed, I had about 5 different occurrences because it was the Friday. I do my Freaky Friday card pull. One of my gifts that she'd given me, I used that as a marker. And I thought, oh my gosh, I wonder what that card is going to be when we flip it. So it was meaningful. But the trippier part was, I said to my boys, no, wait, okay, I got to rewind. When I got home, when we first found out, so at 10:30, so when I got home about 10:45, I went downstairs to talk to my mom. I go downstairs, she's on the phone. So I'm like, okay, I look over at her TV screen, which we had just set up, and she had her like YouTube relaxing music playing. Well, up in the top left corner, a lotus. So that was sign number 1. That was literally within 20 minutes to 30 minutes from when we heard that my aunt had passed. So that was kind of number 1. Number 2, I go upstairs, and I think I had relaxing music playing already, or I turned it on no, I had it playing because I left it going when I went to the garden. So I go and I look at my screen and there's this beautiful, serene view, but it's all a bunch of lotus across the screen. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, okay. Like, it was actually crazy. Like when I thought about it, I was like, this is actually crazy. So anyways, so back to the card pull. So that afternoon, I said to the boys, I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's just ask Aunt Lori to give us a sign. So I used the deck that I had used for my Freaky Friday. It was already out. So I'm like, we'll just ask, like, we'll pull a card and ask her to give us a sign. So I'm shuffling, and one jumps out. So I put it down. Actually, when I put it down, I look and there's 3 cards. And I'm like, oh, I think that's one for each of us. So I separate the 3 cards out. And I think it's a 56 card deck for this one. So I separate the cards out and I'm like, okay, boys, pick which one that you were going to pick. So the one said the middle, and my other son was like, oh, I was going to pick that one too. And I'm like, yeah, me as well. So anyways, I flip over that middle card. It's a lotus. And it's called Burst of Magic. And we're like, I'm just like, oh my, like you cannot make this up. So we like read the description, we flip over the other 2, and it was like, oh crap, I took a photo of them. Did I write it down? I flip it over and I think one of them was like, I think it was Sweet Surrender. And then the other one was, they were both, all 3 were extremely appropriate. So anyways, I thought maybe I wrote these down somewhere else. I thought I wrote all of this. Anyways, so we're freaking, well, I'm freaking more so. And anyways, so that was cool. I literally open up the card deck and I go through because I'm like, 56 cards. How was that with the one single giant lotus? There are only 5 cards in that whole deck that actually have a lotus on it. In even if it's like the tiniest little lotus, I looked for any possible. Yeah. So that was that same day. So all of that happened that same day. So, and then, oh yeah, that was the other one. Oh my gosh. Okay. So my mom I think it was that night, the first night that my aunt passed, my mom, I think she was just sitting watching TV, and she literally felt a physical squeeze on her shoulder. Wasn't a tap, which my mom, she said she just felt and she knew. And it was like, oh, hey, Lori. And she said out loud at one point, okay, I totally am fine with the squeeze instead of the tap. I approve of that, basically. So my mom, yeah, we just kept getting sign upon sign that my aunt was visiting and just letting us know. She was so present in those first days, like right after she crossed over. So I'm trying to look at my notes to see. Oh, yes. Okay. I found, this was the other one I missed it before because it was, all right. So this says the 23rd. So the middle of the night. Okay, so I'm fast asleep and I am a sleeper who I don't get up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. I don't wake up and have racing thoughts. I go to bed. It's about the only time my brain shuts off on a conscious level. Of course, I dream like a mofo. Sometimes I remember, sometimes I don't. But I sleep pleasantly. I love sleep. It is wonderful. So I will wake up when the alarm is set, or sometimes I'll wake up just before the alarm. And that's that. So I don't wake up during the night. So anyways, this night I am sleeping and I'm in like a deep sleep. And I also have like a blackout blind in my room. So there is no light. It is pitch black in my room. I love it. So I was sleeping on my stomach, which usually I don't. Usually I sleep on my back like starfish. But I was on my stomach for whatever reason. Sometimes I'll do that in the middle of the night. I'll turn over, I guess. So I'm on my stomach, fast asleep, and I have like my one cat sleeps on one side of me. My German Shepherd sleeps next to me, but kind of down by my feet. I was just talking with my hands and I hit my pen. That was that sound, because apparently I need to talk with my hands. So anyways, I'm fast asleep. Well, I feel, so okay, picture if you're laying on your stomach and then so the top of your feet are on the mattress, right? And like the bottom of your feet are facing up. So I all of a sudden feel a hand squeezing my one foot, but the hand is between the mattress and my foot. Does that make sense? So the squeeze is like squeezing the top of my foot, but it's like I said, like there's a hand. So it startled me awake because I'm like, who the hell's in my room? So I quickly jump, turn on the light and look. And of course there's nobody there. So I literally just laugh and I'm like, hey, Aunt Lori, I'm like, do we need to do this in the middle of the night? But the funny thing is, like, she was the funny aunt who was always like, she always had that twinkle in her eyes, just like my grandpa, my papa. And she was always like, if you're standing there talking, she's famous for this at family gatherings. You'd be standing there talking. So say one leg straight and the other leg is like bent. You know how you stand like that? She'd come up behind people and just use her knee to knock in your knee, the straight one, so that you'd like look like you're about to fall over. Kind of sick, but hilarious. Like, that was her trademark move. So she was like a prankster. She'd always do fun little things, like just goofy. So anyways, I'm like, oh, she's having a grand old time, because I remember her even saying when she was at the retirement home, she was like, oh yeah, I can come and like play tricks. And I'm like, bring it, man. I'm like, do it all. I'll love it. And she was saying, I know, like, you will pay, like, basically I'll know what's going on and I will laugh and be able to receive it. So anyways, it was so funny. And then after that, I had a dream. I wrote down had a dream of Aunt Lori. So just dreams and all these interactions. But so the Lotus stuff continues. So we will see Lotus. And oh, that was the other thing. I think it was the next day or the day after, like within these few days after, I did a meditation and it was just like, oh, relaxing, whatever. Well, so I've been meditating on Insight Timer for, I don't even know how many years, like 10 or something, a very long time. Oh, maybe not 10, maybe like 7. Anyways, I have to look at that. And I have never, ever done a meditation that says anything about a lotus at all. And so I do this meditation, and it wasn't even for, did I write it? I thought I wrote it down somewhere. It wasn't for like connecting with your spirit guide. It wasn't any of that. It was just a straight up meditation. And in it, I think it was like they were opening chakras or something. Well, we get to the crown chakra, and it's like the woman says, and I want you to picture a lotus opening at the top of your head. And I'm just like, what is going on? Like, Aunt Lori, I got you. So anyways, it's just been funny because it's like any music that I turn on to YouTube, it's like the cover that I select doesn't have a lotus. And then I look over and either it's switched tracks throughout the day or it's, I don't know if the visual has changed within that video, but there's a lotus. Like, it's actually just funny. Funny, funny, funny. Haha. So anyways, I keep seeing those. I love it. It's great. Oh, I remember the other one. So recycling. Okay, so we put our recycling out Monday nights. So she passed early that Friday morning. So this is now the Monday that we put out our recycling. So and I'm pretty, like, I stack the recycling very well and I make sure, like, I put a weight so nothing blows away. So my mom, there was a piece of paper where one of her daughters had reached out and asked us for dates to cover in October. And it was like October 1st and the 2nd, and then like the weekend, my birthday weekend actually. And so I had written them down and given them to my mom. And because we had confirmed the first one, but we were like, oh, we'll wait and see because we thought my aunt would be living with her son at that point. So it wouldn't make sense that you would need someone to go stay with her if she's living with 2 other adults. But anyways, so that piece of paper my mom had put in the recycling bin that Monday. And like I said, the boys did the recycling. And it was raining. So I remember I went out that next morning on my walk with Drift. And I thought, oh, I'm going to just check and see and make sure nothing is blown away or anything. So I'm walking down the driveway and there's one piece of paper on the driveway. Everything else is completely in the bins, fine and dandy. I look down and it's literally the piece of paper that says on it, Aunt Lori, October 1st and the 2nd, and then the other week, like my birthday weekend. And it's been rained on. Like, it is soaked. The ground everywhere is soaked. I look at it. The writing has not smudged at all. And I pick it up. It's dripping wet. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, oh, hey, Aunt Lori. Like, I just laugh. It's actually humorous. So I brought the piece of paper in and just let it dry, and I put it in my little area with my aunt who it's like my little shrine for her. Um yeah, so that was kind of that thing, that incident. So this is now the weekend. So that would have happened on like the Tuesday morning. So now I did a Reiki certification, which was that week. I don't remember if it was the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I don't know when it was, but that week. So this is all still within that first 5-6 days that my aunt had passed. So I'm doing a one-on-one Reiki certification training. And day 2 of it, the student was practicing on me. And it was like kind of her full, like the one where it's like, okay, has she memorized all of the positions and is she doing all the things right? So she's at the first position where like I can feel her hand, one hand on my shoulder, her other hand on my elbow. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm just in the zone. It was super relaxing. And so, but in my head, I'm like, okay, so she should be over my chakras by now. And I'm like, why is her hand still on my shoulder and my elbow? Like, this is an unusually long time. So I say to her, and I'm like, are you over my chakras now? And she's like, yeah, I am. I've been here for a bit. And I'm like, oh, I'm like, okay. Because I still feel hands on my shoulder. And like it was only on, not on the elbow, just on the shoulder, but like held, like strong. And she was like, oh, I wonder who that would be. And I said, oh, that's my aunt who passed away. Actually, this would have been on the Friday because I said, that's my aunt who passed away a week ago. So I'm like, oh, hey, Aunt Lori, literally just say it out loud. So I could still feel her hand on my shoulder. Like we're talking, she went through my chakras, my knee, my foot, my other knee. When she got to the other knee, I was like, huh. So when she got there, I felt this pulse, like this movement on my left elbow. My aunt, I can still feel my aunt on my shoulder, and then I feel this pulse. And I'm like in my head going, okay, is that aunt? Like, why that feels different? So in my head, I'm asking, okay, who is this? And then I just get an image of my dad. And so I told her, which is neat because, like, when I have things that come through for clients, it's very like I'll get a picture of who it is and I'll be able to describe. And sometimes I'll get words, sometimes I'll get just like feelings. But so, and I laughed because I was like, oh, yeah, my dad's always like, he shows up everywhere. So it's kind of funny because he was probably like, okay, well, your aunt's visiting. I'm going to come and visit too. And if she gets to touch you, so do I. So it was just really neat. And so it was just quick. And yeah, once Denise, she came up to my left shoulder, then they both just left. And she's like, oh, I scared them off. I'm so sorry. I'm like, no, it's all good. I'm like, they just popped in or whatever. So anyways, that's my experience, in the days after my aunt passed. And I hope you enjoyed this. And I hope maybe it gave you a little encouragement to trust what you see and feel and experience, and not think that you're crazy, and not hide it or be afraid to share your stories with people because they're friggin' amazing. And the thing is, we've had a lot of deaths within our family over the years, and my aunt and even my cousin, when he passed, I don't know if it's because of where I am in my spiritual journey or because of where humanity is in these more recent years with spirituality or what it is, but I feel much more comforted in their passing. I obviously, it was a rough, like I was sad, and I'm still sad, and there's still waves that hit, but with all of these experiences, it just makes us know that they really are not that far. And it reinforces my belief system about the soul and how the soul travels through lifetimes and how there's multi-dimensional lifetimes happening and how there's really, time really is just a farce, and that, you know, we can still interact with people who are quote unquote dead to us in this lifetime, because we really are eternal, each of our souls, and we really are all connected, I believe. So yeah, anyways, I'm going to wrap it up there. This is a long one. I really hope you enjoyed this. And until next time, thank you so much. Peace out. Thanks for hanging out and listening to my wild and wacky Tam Talks. Follow Tam Talks to be notified of new episodes. Peace out.